Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 170 of Broken Boys. I'm Colin,
I am Mike.
and this week we will be talking about the discography of Tame Impala.
My favorite band.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got the fresh Clancy picks for our profile pictures this week.
Yeah.
I've got Dima Burning, which I believe is I was actually just looking at that because well, I guess I'm kind of telling something you did, but you bought the digital album, the digital deluxe or whatever it's called of Clancy.
The remains.
Yeah, and I was just looking through that a little bit before we hopped on here. But I think I saw online that this picture of Dima burning is in there somewhere, and it's kind of it's kind of a sick pic. So
It is.
yeah,
And so is the picture I'm using of Clancy poking out from a grave, the ground.
poking out from something. It's kind of a funny one. I like it.
It is silly. I love the silly pictures of Clancy poking out, or just the silly Clancy pictures of Sarah. The mask just having eye holes is pretty silly.
Yeah, even the one that's like been used in a lot of the promotional stuff of like I don't know. It's like one where Tyler's like almost looks like he's like throwing sand at the camera or something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing a Reddit post like, do you think they told him pose like that, or he just kind of did that?
Did that.
Applied that meme to it. But yeah, yeah, we got the fresh Clancy picks. And I don't have anything else to say about that right now. But how was your week?
It was okay. Did a lot of work in, which has been fine. Pretty slow. Not too busy. It has its moments, but it's been fairly consistently slow.
Mm-hmm.
Been sent home early a few times because of how slow we've been. Yesterday I left 2 hours early, and I was like, "Ooh, that's nice." But also, before I was sent home, I was sent on break, so I lost 2.5 hours of pay, which wasn't nice.
Oh.
I asked my manager, I was like, why did you even send me on break? She was like, I was just thinking about that. Like, I don't even know why. I don't know why I sent you on break.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm confused. Was the break 2.5 hours?
No. The break is a half hour, but I clocked out. I got to leave 2 hours early, so I didn't get.
Okay, I see.
I didn't get those last 2 hours.
Yeah.
As well as my break. So, so it was fun. And today I had good old 8-hour shift, and we were slow a lot of the day, but towards the end we were picking up a bit, and I was on fries for the ending of my shift, and just it's a little disheartening seeing like 4 medium fries on one order pop up.
Yeah, it's a lot of potatoes that you have to cut back there.
It is. I have to raise those potatoes like children, and it's upsetting to see them go.
Yeah, especially throwing them into the fryer right afterwards too. It's a little fucked up.
Yeah, the screams.
Yeah,
the terrible screams, but they're all right.
I don't think they are, but
they taste good.
That's true. Yeah, what matters.
Exactly. But I mean, other than that, I'm playing a good amount of Fortnite. Goddamn, this season is I've gotten a lot of wins this season, but I've also it's also the most infuriating season I think I've played because the cars.
Yeah, I was playing a little bit with my neighbors, and they're like, "It's not normally like this." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, Yeah, the cars are something. They nerfed them a little bit in an update.
Since when? Like a few days ago?
Yes, yesterday.
Okay, all right.
But they're still a little bit not great to fight against, especially if you don't have a car yourself.
Or if you don't know
Uh,
what you're doing.
or that.
Yeah.
But if you do have a car, it's fun. It's fun to do that to other people, but when it gets done to you, it's not the best.
Yeah.
Um, that's been good. There's a Lethal Company skin in the game today.
Interesting.
And they get the little dance emote.
I was gonna say, I thought I saw like an animation of the little dance emote at some point,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
That's fun. Been listening to a lot of Clancy.
Mm-hmm.
Been listening to a lot of Tame Impala. Um, I got my box set came in the
Ooh.
mail, and it's cool, but also compared to the Scaled Nicey box set, a little disappointing. Um, the Scaled Nicey box set is super detailed, super nice. The box is textured.
Yeah.
It's super cool. But the Clancy one, it's a cardboard box. And it has cool designs on the inside, but the alternate artwork CD, I was expecting it to be like an actual just an actual like plastic case CD, but it just ended up being a cardboard sleeve
Oh, with the CD in it.
CD in it. And I was like, oh,
Oh.
well, that's cool. Came with a bandana, so I have a bandana for the last few albums. So
Yeah.
I've got Trent, Scaled Nicey, and Clancy now, so that's cool.
I have a trench one.
Mm-hmm. And it came with some stickers, some patches, a poster that I've also been on a poster hanging kick this week.
Yeah.
I'll send some pictures
Oh.
in the chat if you want to look at them.
Oh, here we go. There. We got the Strokes right there. Hold on, let me make sure it's still okay. Yeah, we're still good. Got Strokes there. Got Clancy. Indiana Jones has been there. You guys didn't see this, but this is what you were on last week. Kind of.
Yes.
And there you go. A couple Clancy's. Right next, yeah. Right beside the breaking pad.
Yeah, ooh. I think the color coordination was pretty nice, so I hung that over there. And then the lyric booklet for the vinyl was very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, fuck it, I'll hang that up. But now Tyler's just peeking at us as we sleep, so which is fine.
Yeah,
because he's watching over us, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, all my stuff came in. My vinyl came in as my Inferno pressing, which is basically just orange, which is fine. I know a lot of people were having issues with their vinyls that I was seeing,
like with them playing.
Yeah, like they were just like skipping and stuff, but also all of the videos I saw were people using the same kind of thing that I have, like the suitcase vinyl players. So like that could also just be a problem with the player. And mine didn't have any issues, so it's like I don't know. But it sounds good. Love that. Love it. That's probably the last record that I'm going to be able to fit in my thing that I've been holding my records in. So I'm gonna have to find something else. My journal came in with my little signed bookmark. I can also send a picture of that into the chat to show the beautiful viewers.
To show chat, yeah.
There's that.
There we go. Signed Tog and Jog.
Tog and Jog. But yeah. The Digital Remains also came out, which was a cool little thing. Came with 4 live versions of Overcompensate, Next Semester, Backslide, and The Craving. Which there's not many. There's the live stream stuff and the MTV Unplugged, but other than that, there's not a lot of live 21 Pilots things. It's cool to hear that.
Yeah, I think the last time they did like a release from like a show was during Blurry Face.
Yeah,
I think.
probably. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole vinyl of that. So
Yeah, that's the one I'm
um,
thinking of.
yeah, so I mean, I would love a new full taped show to listen to have just on streaming services and stuff. I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
Um, but the digital remains are really cool. $5 for some cool artwork, handwritten lyrics, and some like unused songs and unused lyrics, changed lyrics and stuff. Like pretty good deal for that stuff.
Yeah, and you're able to share it too. Yeah.
Sent that over to old Michael
Yeah,
over there.
that's me. That's my government name.
Yep. Why are you talking about going like that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, why make Mike buy this, even though everyone was posting the stuff on Twitter anyway. But
Yeah.
it's okay.
Thank you again. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no problem. No problem. But yeah, after we finished the pod, me and Mike went to the good old record store down here.
Mm-hmm.
Mike got Clancy on vinyl, and I got the indie exclusive CD cover variant, which was very cool. And it's I like the cover of that a lot. And we saw Murph. I haven't seen her. She has a nice little collar now. So
Murph is a cat, to be clear.
yes, I'm sure we've talked about her before. But Murph the record store cat.
Yeah.
She's very nice and sweet.
Yeah. He gets lots of pets.
Yes. And then but tomorrow I'm going to go see Rhett and Link in Chicago with my brother. So that'll be fun. And it's also Link's birthday tomorrow, so I'm wondering if they're gonna do anything special or something.
They probably will.
Probably, but it'll be good. I'm excited.
Are they doing like a tour thing, or is it like?
Yeah, they're doing a Good Mythical Morning tour.
Okay.
Bought those tickets back in like January. I think.
Yeah, I think I remember you mentioning it, but yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun though. I'm excited. It'll be good. See my two internet dads live.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's basically it. Just working and listening to Clancy.
Yeah.
But how was your week, Mike?
Week's fine. I did a few things more than usual, so that's good, I guess. I like Colin mentioned, we went to the record store. I got a Clancy vinyl. I actually ordered one from Walmart. I don't remember if I mentioned that. I must have mentioned it on the pod last week because I definitely did that before the pod. But I ordered one from Walmart, and then I was like, I'll check the record store down here. If they have it, then I'll cancel my Walmart order. And they did have it, so I got it here, or got it there. Yeah, it said it was a clear version on the on like the outer sleeve or whatever, the plastic. And then I was telling Colin in the record store, I'm like, clear vinyl aren't as cool as they kind of sound. Well, not like literally sound, but like you imagine a clear vinyl to be a little more clear than it actually is, I guess. But when I took it out, it was actually kind of cool. It's clear, but I didn't know there was like red splotches like all around it. So it almost looked like there was like blood spatter on it. It was kind of cool actually. Little graphic, I guess, for 21 Pilots, but it's kind of sick. But yeah, that's cool. And it came with its own like exclusive little like protection sleeve or whatever that I could put around it. And I have it in that now, but it doesn't fit into my case because it's a little too wide with that sleeve. So I'm still figuring out exactly where I'm going to put it. But then again, my cases, I have two of them, are both pretty full. I was trying to organize some stuff. I was like, oh, these are both having some tight fits put into them. So I might have to get another vinyl case or something, or just a job or something. But yeah. That's pretty cool. But then also a couple days ago, I see a package arrive, and it's in the shape of a vinyl, and I'm like,
Uh-oh.
That's interesting. I'm like, oh, it's to me from Walmart.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, oh well. And I looked at the app, and I was like, I'm like pretty sure I canceled that. Like, did I like not hit confirm or something? And then I was
Uh,
like, oh no, canceled orders can take up to a few days to process. And it's like, what's the point of canceling it? Like, I'm pretty sure when I canceled it, it didn't ship yet. And I'm like, okay, so that means it's probably good to cancel, but whatever. But I think I'm able to get a full return if I take it to Walmart and just be like, hey, I'd like to return this. And I didn't open it or anything, so it'll. Hopefully that'll be fine. But I was just like, okay, well, now I'm in possession of two Clancy's. It's the
okay,
dream.
I got 4, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you do. I guess I have 3 then as well if we count my journal. But yeah, there was that. But most of the week wasn't really doing too much. I was working on some music. A little plaintive drop there ish. I was touching up the song that I showed you guys a little like probably a couple months ago at this point, maybe even 3 months or so. But I was touching that one up a little bit, and now I have that one in a spot that I like even more. Um, and then I was getting started on a new one, having some good ideas for getting a new one, quote unquote, a song that's existed for a long time, but actually producing it. And so that's been pretty cool. Looking forward to doing more of that when I got the time and stuff. Um, and yeah, this week I was also helping out with the marching band again over at our high school. Um, yeah, we it was just like the preliminary days, so we don't really doing we weren't really doing too much. It was just 3 days, 3 hours each, so not really too notable. But it's good seeing the kids again. I have a good relationship with them. Nowadays when I come back, it's kind of I feel like a cool uncle or something. um,
yeah.
it's kind of fun. But
Do they have a theme this year?
I'm not sure exactly what it is. I think the show is called like Stepping into Darkness or something like that. The music sounds kind of cool. It's kind of a similar vibe to what it was last year, which was like kind of dark and dramatic. But it kind of stays like that throughout the whole thing this year, and I think the show feels a little more cohesive this year. But I don't know if they have like a theme set up for it yet. But yeah, it sounds pretty good so far, and they're doing all right. So that the freshmen are catching on to marching already, and I'm like, okay, this is a better step than last year. Last year there was a few freshmen that's like, okay, but I guess that could still happen if I'm helping out later in the year. But I also was sharing the burden though this year with 2 other clarinet techs. Um, the Before I got there, they had no clarinet tech, and then I was their only one for the last couple years. Um, and then this year, uh, there's 2 more hired on because the clarinets are a big section. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was pretty nice though, getting to split that up and getting to bounce ideas off of a couple other people. Um, but yeah, I mean, not really much else besides that. Um, but yeah, I did that. Got home. After the first day, my like legs really hurt for some reason. I was like,
Yeah.
this is kind of bad that I couldn't stand for like 3 hours straight without my legs getting really sore. um,
Gotta get
um,
them in shape for October 1st.
yeah, well, if I do marching band in the fall, they definitely will be. But yeah, I was like, this is not good. The amount of soreness over my legs from that. I don't know what I did, but I
Yeah.
powered through. We were good. Um, but yeah, that was about it though. It was nice. As long as because I know I've been saying it, but I really am gonna be hunkering down on the job thing. And hopefully I'm employed by the time marching season starts up again. But if I am, I'm not entirely sure if I'll be able to make it back in their later dates in the summer. But if I can, it'd be nice. But yeah, uh, not much else other than that. Actually, wait, one more thing. So the last couple years that I've been doing the marching tech thing, because there's techs for every section, right? And there's like been like I'd say 3 or 4 of them that had been there for like multiple years. Like 2 of them had been there for like 5 or 6 years or something. Like I remember, I think because we did the math last year, and her first time being the tech was our senior year. um,
Yeah.
um, and so like there's a few of them that have been doing that for a while. I was the only person who returned to teching this year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just got there and like, a whole bunch of people came in. I'm like, oh, I don't know you. I don't know you. Oh man, I don't know anyone. It's just me. I'm no longer the new one. But, uh, so that was a little bit of a shocker having to kind of teach the techs our marching technique and all that type of stuff. But
Yeah.
they were shocked by our start time because they could see it on the wall. I was like, yeah, 7:05, baby. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's about it though. Uh, Nothing much else happened with my week. But yeah.
Yeah.
Um, in some music news, uh, I mean, I don't really even know how to transition into this. Did you hear that J. Cole track?
No.
um, oh man, how do I describe this? He dropped a really bad song.
Okay.
With another guy. Hold on, I'm finding it right now. With Cash Cobain. I don't know who that is. But the
Yeah.
song is called Grippy, and the whole thing is it's kind of like imagine Yummy by Justin Bieber, except
Ooh.
just like the word grippy instead.
Mm.
It may be a little less pop and more just like I don't know. This says alternative R&B and trap. So if you think of Yummy in a little bit more of that lane, instead with the word grippy and like really bad production, yeah, that's what J. Cole's doing after this big beef.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, what are you gonna do?
Um.
I mean, you'd think he'd take that narrow that narrow fuck. What's the fucking thing? What's the whatever?
I'm not sure what you're going for.
The like a very near death
Oh,
experience,
okay.
that career death,
Narrowly
uh,
avoiding death.
narrowly avoiding career death and possible real death with dropping out of dropping out of the Kendrick beef.
Yeah.
You'd think he'd take that and turn over a new leaf, but he went uh, he went the wrong route.
Yeah. He's getting a lot of hate for it, and yeah, I did not like it much at all. And you're not missing much, although I think it is an experience just hearing the chorus once.
Okay.
It's it's quite something. Um, uh, there's that. And I don't really have anything else except for there's I put in my notes. Maybe there's two. I don't know. It's been a lot of 21 Pilots rumors going around. I
Yeah.
think we kind of, I think we kind of addressed it last week, and I was like, yeah, I don't try to get myself hyped up for double albums or anything like that. But there's been a lot of like really convincing evidence, and even after all this evidence has been dropping, of like 625 is the main thing that keeps coming back up.
Yeah.
Um, Even after all these theories have been running wild, Tyler and Josh are still playing into it with very subtle things. And it's like, okay, this doesn't feel coincidental anymore.
Right.
I think, yeah, I mean, I'm
I'm
still
not.
here. Yeah, you go.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get too excited. I'm not trying to like make myself believe that there's gonna be another full album from 21 Pilots to get excited for or anything. But at the same time, boy, if they don't do something,
Yeah,
like I won't be surprised. Tyler and Josh, especially Tyler, are pretty trolly and they like
yeah,
to fuck with us, which is fine and it's funny a lot of the time. But um, the end of Paladin Straight not sounding like the end, on top of Tyler going, "Does this sound like the end?" in the live stream, and then all this 625 stuff popping up, the Clancy Ultimus Capitulus 25 or whatever,
yeah,
uh, like on top of the Josh's fucking run that was 625.
Yeah.
Perfectly timed with the end of Clancy. Like, how, oh God. And then, like, all this stuff, like, the people, like, Tyler tweeted this, like, random assortment of letters
Yeah.
a while ago, and then, um, that's 11. And then there's 13 tracks on Clancy. 13 plus 11. Or, no. Yeah.
It was
No.
13 plus 11 plus the Craving single edition.
But, okay. Yeah. That's 25. And then there were 11 dots between We Are 21 Pilots and So Are You at the fan premiere exhibit or whatever. And that's, 11 tracks.
Yeah, and like in the digital exclusive album, there was I don't remember what it was called. It was something like Drag something. There was like lyrics to a song that wasn't on Clancy. And people realized like, hey, that fits into one of the random assortment of letters that Tyler tweeted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot of signs pointing towards a deluxe edition, like actual deluxe, I guess, not the digital deluxe. Um,
A Taylor Swift type deluxe.
yeah, Tyler's version.
Yes.
But it feels like there's a lot pointing towards it. But I'm kind of with you. I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but I do think there's some pretty solid evidence. And I think there's at least another song that's something's happening 625. I can almost confidently say that, but I'm pretty sure that there is another song or something to wrap this up.
Yeah.
But
I'd be perfectly fine with just a song. But if we
me
get
too.
11, hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, if I have to spend even more money on Clancy than I've already spent, so be it. But
Yeah,
hey,
unless the albums or the additional tracks are like insanely good, I'm probably not going to spend any more money. I've spent a lot of money on Clancy so far.
yeah. I mean, I spent a lot of money on Scaled and Icy as well.
True.
But you know, I have a problem. So it's
Yeah.
yeah. But hey, the boys were also doing really well on the charts this week.
Yeah.
Very consistently, very consistent streams, staying in that 9 million range each day since it came out. They maxed out at number 2 for the week, and people were a little upset about it. They were like really wanting the boys to get a number 1, but they didn't. And then Tyler tweeted earlier today, and he's like, "Guys, chill out." Like, here, I'll read it verbatim, just
Okay.
because it's a sweet tweet.
It is. Yeah, I saw it too. It's a good message from Tyler to the fans and keeping people in check.
Yeah, he goes, seeing a lot of you disappointed that Clancy didn't top album charts this week. You stop it right now. Do you know how proud I am of you guys? You absolutely crushed it for us this week. Seriously exceeded every expectation I had. Any artist that focuses on these charts has completely lost touch with what matters. You guys mean the world to me. You're my group, and this is a really good group. This is just the beginning of bringing this record to life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was also that part there.
Yeah.
That for more evidence, quote unquote. But yeah.
But yeah, that was really sweet to see. Number 2 is still great.
Oh, absolutely.
They got the Times Square like main middle screen right below the ball.
Oh.
So like they're getting good publicity. People are listening. Routines in the Night and I think Routines of the Night and Navigating have both been pretty high on the listening list, which like suck it, Tyler. But also, but
I've been seeing some like TikTok trends with Vignette as well. That have been kind of cool.
That's been a good trend too.
I want to participate, but I don't have good footage for it. I live in the Midwest.
Yeah. I mean, hey,
I'll just post it with a bunch of pictures of fields. Yeah.
Fields and your cat.
Yeah.
Some sunsets.
Yeah, I could do sunsets. That's about it.
Okay.
I guess sunrises if I want to stay up that late.
Stay up that late, not
yeah,
wake up that early.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's just been really cool to see. I love that band and I love Clancy, and
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see it succeed.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but
It's you know, the rating is dropping on album of the year, which is a little sad, but you know, it's a good album. I'm still enjoying it a lot. You're still enjoying it a lot, I assume. And that's all that really matters. And yeah, I made a prediction on album of the year that like in like the comment section, I was like, I think I have a bad feeling that Fantano is not going to like this, and the score is probably going to drop to the high 60s once he reviews it. But you know, we'll survive.
be all right. We'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
Album of the year isn't the Mecca, so
No,
you
it's
know.
not. Even though I like to align myself with them a lot. Yeah, you know, gotta stray away every now and then.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah. Other music news? I don't really have any other music news,
I mean,
but
Eminem came back.
oh, Beanie.
Yeah. Who did you listen to it?
No.
Oh, I listened to it. I mean, it was better than Eminem nowadays, but you know, I felt this way when I listened to it. I still kind of feel it right now when I listened to it again earlier. It's like if this was released by any other artist, people wouldn't really like this as much. I don't know. I just
I
don't
know.
really like. I mean, I have yet to listen to a full Eminem project except Revival, and I don't hold him to the standard of Revival. I only listen to that one for the experience.
He's one we might. He's one we should probably put on the wheel. Honestly, I feel like it'd be a really long one,
It
but I
would
feel like
be,
it's like
but
that's a good wheel. It's a good artist analysis.
yeah, yeah, I agree. That would be a lot to take in, but yeah, we could do that. Um, but anyways, I just don't really like whenever Eminem is singing in anything recently, or like
Yeah.
his choruses are pretty bad. I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't get it. Like, sure, the flow is good. There's some good wordplay in there, but you know, he's also, I guess, playing a character complaining about cancel culture. I don't know. It's kind of strange at a couple points. It
Yeah.
just feels a little. Hey, remember me? I'm the Slim Shady. Yeah,
I
I
saw
don't know.
the atrocious artwork for it though.
Oh yeah, that looks awful. The
Yeah,
artwork.
that's really good.
I'll say the artwork is worse than the song. Like,
That's good.
yeah. Um, but yeah, other than that, I don't think there's really been any music news.
Yeah.
But
Um, I saw outside of music news, there's a cool Lego set coming out. It's Legend of
oh,
Zelda Lego set.
ooh, are there
It's
official ones of that? I don't think I've seen that before.
no, I think this is the first Zelda one,
Oh,
but
that's sick.
they've done recently. They did a few Animal Crossing sets, which were
Mm.
cool. But this Zelda one, it's the Deku Tree, and you can build it
Ooh.
two ways. You can build either Ocarina of Time Deku Tree or Breath of the Wild Deku Tree,
Oh,
and
interesting.
yeah, it's pretty cool. But it comes with like young Link from Ocarina, and then adult Link from Ocarina, and then it comes with Link and Zelda from Breath of the Wild
Oh, that's
as
sick.
minifigures. But it looks really cool. It is $300, but it's Lego,
Oh,
so that makes
it's
that
branded
makes
Lego. Yeah.
it's branded Lego, so that makes sense. But it's like 2,500 pieces, so it's a fairly large set, and it's kind of makes sense the price, but
Yeah.
it's something I do want. But I don't know if I'll. Maybe it's something I'll save up for or ask for Christmas very politely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool.
That sounds sick. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, the Deadpool 2 popcorn bucket was revealed.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, Ryan Reynolds was teasing a popcorn bucket to rival that of the Dune 2 popcorn bucket,
Hmm.
and it does. And I think the Dune 2 one is still a little more silly without the inherent like trying to be a sex joke.
Right.
But this one, I think it was definitely meant to be, and that's
Yeah.
really funny. It's just Wolverine's head with its mouth wide open, looks like a fleshlight. But they put a tongue on it. It's. I mean, love Wolverines, and that's the only reason I want it.
Yep.
Yep. But that was funny. But other new Trump got
Oh yes.
and it got found guilty on all 34 counts that he
Mm-hmm.
was facing, which every count um, could the max sentence is 4 years, but that's 34 counts, and there's no. I don't think that he's going to be put in jail because he's never been. I don't think he's ever been convicted, and they're non-violent crimes, so he's probably not going to end up in jail. But the fact
Yeah.
that he got found guilty of all 34 was very good to see.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, I don't know how they found an impartial jury, to be honest, because
Yeah.
everybody knows who Trump is.
I've
But
always wondered that too. And like the really high profile cases, like how do you do that?
right, but yeah, that was funny. I'm hoping that yeah, I don't know if there are rules against felons, like convicted felons, running for office.
No, there is. I was seeing some stuff online about this. He is no longer able to vote for a president, but he can still run to be one.
That is actually crazy.
Yep.
Um,
America, baby.
I love America. But yeah, other than that, I don't have anything else. So
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else news wise either. Um, we should do a little monthly roundup though.
sure,
Um,
sure.
I have quite a bit again this month.
I think I have 7, so
Okay.
more than I've had.
Yeah. I haven't counted, but I have more than 7, so I'll start off and we
No,
can alternate until I get to the bottom.
sounds
Um,
good.
cool. First thing, well, we're doing a monthly roundup for the month of May. These are all the albums that we listened to for the first time during this month and our thoughts on it generally. First thing I listened to this month was, or last month, was Empathogen by Willow. This is Willow Smith of Will Smith fame. And she released like this indie rock jazz pop type album, and it has some really really good tracks on it, like legitimately like whoa. How is this coming out of you right now?
Yeah,
And it's really sick. I wish it was a little bit more consistent, because there are some points on the album that's just kind of like, okay, you're just kind of doing things. I mean, they sound fine, but it's not as engaging all throughout. But the highlights on here, especially the singles, like Big Feelings and Symptom of Life, along with a few others along through there as well, are just like really solid. And I think it's worth giving a listen to. So yeah, I have it at a decent 8.
nice. First thing I listened to in the month of May was "The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess" by Chapel Roan.
Mm.
And it was a nice vibe. She's like I've said prior, she's been on my For You page a lot on TikTok. I've enjoyed the vibe of her. She's very 80s pop coded, very Madonna, very Cyndi Lauper esque, and I think that fits her really well. It's very fun, very boppy pop music, while also having some nice slow and emotional ballads in there. Um, she's got a great voice, and she's killing it pretty much with crowds and stuff at festivals and
Yeah.
concerts and stuff. She's got a big like a choreographed kind of little dance for her song "Hot to Go," which I saw like she drew in a bigger crowd at a festival than any of the headliners and Ed Sheeran.
Oh wow.
Um,
Well, Ed
and
Sheeran's not surprising, but yeah, wow.
yeah, but seeing big festival crowds do that little dance is very cool. Um, and she's a cool person. She's very funny. Very has a great talent. Yeah, I liked this album a good bit, and I'm still probably gonna listen to it a couple more times to really solidify how I feel about it. But for right now, I have it at like a solid 7.
Nice.
It's a good pop album.
Yeah, I definitely need to check that one out because that's a name I've been hearing a lot more, and I just need to culture myself because I don't know anything by her. I've
Yeah,
seen the album cover. I think did that come out last year or was that this year?
it was last year, I think.
Okay, yeah, I remember seeing the album cover last year too, but yeah, I've been hearing a lot more recently, so I probably should check that out.
For sure.
Um, yeah, next thing I listened to was Radical Optimism by Dua Lipa. I mean, we all know Dua Lipa. This is my first Dua Lipa. This is my first album listening to by her, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think I enjoyed it a little bit more than other people did, apparently. Like I thought it was just really solid, nice pop music. Like I don't know, it was pretty good. Had some good choruses. I haven't returned to it at all, and actually I'm just realizing right now there's a song on here called Houdini, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I haven't returned to it all that much, but I did enjoy it for the one listen I gave it. So I mean, I gave it a decent 7 after that first listen. So I mean, I guess that's still how I feel. I'll listen to it again, I guess, before the end of the year. But I thought it was pretty catchy.
Cool. Um, yeah, cool. The next thing I listened to was Vista by Childish Gambino. I haven't given it more than one listen, but I did enjoy it from what I do recall. Um, I liked. I haven't listened to the original unfinished version, the 3:15:20 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Um, but I did have a good time with it. I do think I need to revisit it to really like. I don't know how getting only having one listen on it. I didn't really gain any like um, solid thoughts, but I did like it. I like Donald Glover's voice, and I think that the song sounded nice. Littlefoot Bigfoot has shrunk on me a bit though, because
Mm.
having heard it on my for you page, I'm like actually maybe I don't like this one as much as I thought I did,
It is in a
but
weird midpoint for me. Yeah.
yeah, it's not like bad to me, but it is like I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, for now, I'd probably give it like a light 7. But like I said, I'll probably listen to it a couple more times just to really solidify everything.
Yeah. Cool. Next thing I listened to, I believe, yeah, this is the number one album of the year on album of the year right now. It's
Wow.
called "Fearless Movement" by Kamasi Washington. It's a really like just straight up jazz album. It's labeled as jazz fusion, but I believe Kamasi is a saxophonist, so a lot of that kind of stuff throughout here. It's a good album. It's long. It's an hour and a half, and I think I've given it like 3 listens or so. Um, with the listens, I've felt this way a little bit more as I've gone through it. I think it ends stronger than it starts, which is good when you're doing a full listen. But every time I've been starting it, I'm like, like it's good. It's well produced all throughout, and there's cool stuff throughout. But like in terms of like keeping my interest, and maybe that's just me not being all too familiar with jazz. It doesn't quite do that all throughout, but some of the tracks towards the end, like "The Garden Path," "Road to Self," and especially "Prologue," the outro track, which I guess spoiler alert, I probably will have a song of the week at some point because it's a good song. um, uh, but those ones are really good, and are big highlights on the album for me. But it's just really solid throughout, with some really good stuff towards the end, but maybe a little long for me. And I have it at a decent 8 as well.
Nice. Um, the next thing I listened to was "Hit Me Hard and Soft" by Billie Eilish,
Mm.
and I really, really, really like this record. The first off first listen, I didn't know how it would go up against "Happier Than Ever" for me, but I think at this point I can confidently say this is my favorite album by her.
Mm.
I think she sounds the best she's ever sounded. I think the production is the coolest. Well, maybe not the coolest, but it is um, probably
The most mature,
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, it's the most mature, and I think it fits her super, super well.
Yeah.
I think Phineas did a great job. I think that I think the big tracks like Lunch are super fun. I think uh, the um, the more ballad heavy, very sweet and best vocal performances on the album, like The Greatest and Wildflower, are fantastic. I really really love this album. I think that the listens that I gave it have definitely solidified it as my favorite by her, and it'll definitely be up there um, for my top albums of the year. But yeah, as of right now, I'd probably give it a light 9. I really really like it.
Cool. Cool. Next thing I listened to was Vespertine by Björk. This is a classic album that I've heard a lot about, and I've been meaning to listen to more Björk because I've only listened to Post, and I really liked it. And this one I liked even more. It's just like this really, I mean, honestly, this album could have been called Scaled and Icy. It sounds very, very cold and like icy, but like really, I don't know. It's like really beautiful, like the way in which the sounds are presented. When I talked about it on our episode, I kind of said it's like a midpoint between a moon-shaped pool and like the Minecraft soundtrack.
Yeah.
Um, and I still hold true to that. I need to listen to it again, but I listened to it a few times during the month, and yeah, there's just like insane highlights on here. It's really pretty, really really well produced. The choral stuff and strings on here are awesome. Sorry for that noise. My Windows security gave me an update, I guess. But yeah, it's just really good. And yeah, it's one that I will be returning to a lot from her. So yeah, I have it at a strong 9. I think it's really, really good.
Very cool. Yeah, Björk is one that I feel like I should listen to.
Yeah,
Um,
I still need to listen to a lot of Björk, so I'm kind of there with you in a way.
but hey, wheel.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. Next thing I listened to probably could have gone before Billy, but it's okay. It was Fallen by Evanescence. Like I said on that Hit Me Hard and Soft episode, I've definitely heard every one of these songs
Oh yeah,
prior to
yeah.
listening to this, listening to the album on my own on the way back home for my little weekend up there. Because my mom is a big Evanescence fan, and a lot of these songs were on repeat my entire childhood, I think. And it's while it's a lot of nostalgia, it's just it's really good. I think Amy Lee has a beautiful voice. I love the strings on top of the rock sound. Not every song is killer, but there's a good amount of really really good tracks on this thing. Tourniquet is really good. Bring Me to Life, which is the iconic one,
Of course.
um, and the opening track, which I'm forgetting the name of, but they're all really good. Um, yeah, Amy, the singer Amy Lee, she's got a really really good voice, and I really enjoy the album. I'd probably give it a light to solid 8. A very very good album.
Cool. All right. Next thing I listened to was Atavista, whatever, Childish Gambino. Um, I haven't listened to 3:15:20 or whatever in a long time, but I remembered that I didn't remember much from it. It was really forgettable, but like kind of middle of the road. But when I did listen to this one, I left a lot more of a positive impression on me. I do want to listen to it again because I've actually only given it one listen, but it was a fairly close listen. But I should do it again to solidify my score. But I did enjoy it, and I thought it was pretty good throughout. Definitely the production's better, some good vocal performances, and yeah, not like anything like super blowing me away, but also it was just a good project. So yeah, I have it at a decent 7 currently.
Cool.
Cool.
And the next thing I listened to was Neon Pill by Cage the Elephant. Um, I only listened to it once, and I think that's all I really needed to gain a understanding of how I feel about it, because it is just basically how Cage the Elephant has always sounded and probably will always sound. Um, and if you like that sound, you'll like the album. It's their usual sound. Nothing about it is super different. It's got that classic Cage the Elephant rock on top of a couple ballads included in there. Um, I did like the title track, and I think the first ballad on there I enjoyed quite a bit, but no other songs really stood out. I'll probably listen to it a couple more times throughout the year just to because I do like Cage the Elephant. Um, but for now it's okay. It's a Cage the Elephant album. I enjoy it, but I'd probably give it like a strong 6, late 7.
Cool. Cool. Next thing I listened to was "Hit Me Hard and Soft" by Billie Eilish. For me, this one I kind of talked about last week, but it did shrink on me just ever so slightly. I think it's very good. I agree with what Colin was saying. I do think the production on here is great. Her vocal performances on here are also like fantastic, and she like really shines more than usual on here. But I think for me, it's just kind of some of the songwriting stuff. It doesn't latch on to me as much on this one. Like I think there's some great moments, like "The Greatest" I love. I really do love that one, and "Wildflower" I do as well. And like things like "Lunch" and "Blue" as well get to me. But I don't know. For me, it doesn't stick with me as much. Like I haven't really been feeling the like want to come back to it.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like it's more focused and more matured, but at the same time, it's like I know she can do a little bit better. It's kind of what's in my head. But it's still really good for what it is. I think it's just about the same quality as "Happier Than Ever" for me, and for me that's like a strong 7. I think it's a good project. So
That's fair.
yeah.
Fair. And the next thing I listened to was Clancy by 21 Pilots. I what can I say that we didn't say last week? It is really good. I really enjoy it. It's been on repeat since it came out. And Max can attest to that. As I she's been getting songs stuck in her head and singing along. So hey, I'm getting that earworm in there. But I really love Clancy. I think right now I would put but Trench is still my number one for sure.
Yeah.
That's probably never going to change. But I don't. It's hard for me to decide whether I want. It's probably recency bias, but I feel like I want it to be number 2, but also Vessel right there. I don't know. Vessel and Clancy are pretty close for me right now. But I really love Clancy. We talked all about it last week, and if you want to hear more in-depth thoughts on it, you can go check that out.
2.5 hours. Woo.
Hell yeah. But I really like it. Has done nothing but grow on me, especially songs like Snapback. Snapback and Oldie Station have both grown on me significantly. Yeah, I love this album, and right now I feel confident giving it like a decent 9.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Next thing I listened to, Neon Pill, Cage the Elephant. I only gave this one listen as well. I actually do want to give it another listen just to see how because I feel like it's one that I don't know, after 2 listens I may not be as positive on potentially. But like I thought it was fine when I listened to it. Like you said, it was another Cage the Elephant album. It definitely sounded like them. They didn't really switch up the formula all too much, but their formula is good and it has good songs on there. I don't remember which. Wait, did I rate the tracks? I did rate the tracks. Okay. I did like. I liked the title track as well, and also "Silent Picture" towards the end. I had a little bit higher. But there was just, most of it just kind of was like, yeah, this is good alt rock, indie pop. But I don't really remember much of it, so I definitely do want to give it another listen. But for right now, I have it at like a light 7. So yeah,
Nice.
cool.
And yeah, the last thing I listened to was the Tame Impala, the Tame Impala discography. But we'll talk about that in just a little while.
Yes, we
So
will.
you go ahead and pound out whatever you have left.
I actually only have one left, so this worked out pretty well. I mean, technically 2, but my last one is also Tame Impala. But so the last one for me is Clancy by 21 Pilots. Yeah, I mean, I also liked this album. If you couldn't tell from last week, it's really good. I think Brad used it as a criticism, calling it blurry face too, but I see that as a positive light because it really is like it does have a lot of blurry face feelings, but with better production, and I think some better songwriting as well, I would say too. Um, yeah, I think there's a lot of strong tracks on here that I've been loving. You know, things like At the Risk of Feeling Dumb have been growing on me a lot recently, and Snapback as well. And Oldie Station to an extent as well, actually, too. I actually just posted a piano cover of that
Yes,
on
you
the
did.
day we're recording. And I really like how that one sounds in particular, even though it's not my favorite song on the record. That might be my favorite song to play on the record. It's kind of, it has the same syndrome as Before You Start Your Day for me, where I enjoy playing it on piano more than I do listening to the song.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so go check that out, self plug. But yeah, there's a lot of great tracks on here. I will say I think a couple of songs have slightly shrunk on me a little bit, mainly like Midwest Indigo and Routines in the Night. I still think they're good, but I don't like love them as much as I did when I first heard them.
Okay.
But you know, in that same breath, Vignette has grown on me a bit. And like I was
Yeah.
saying, Snapback and Oldie Station have grown a tiny bit, at the risk of feeling dumb. You know, I think it's a really, really solid album. And I have it at a strong 8 right now. Before I had it at a light 9, but then when I went down by you last week, I listened to Clancy and Trench back to back, and I have Trench at a strong 9, and then I was like, you know, this really does put a little into perspective. Like, this isn't quite at the Trench level, but it's really close to it. So that was my reasoning. So it's at a really strong 8 for me. But it's really good, one of my favorites of the year. And it's gonna be probably my most played thing of the year. So, uh,
Definitely.
yeah, really great album. I am biased, but I think it's a great album.
We're biased and we're proud.
Goddamn right. Yeah, and then the last thing was Inner Speaker by Tame Impala. But we'll get there.
Well,
In fact, you probably can get there unless you got anything else to add on.
no, we can definitely hop into this artist analysis.
Cool. 56 minutes in, artist analysis. It's okay. This will be a slightly shorter one.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I guess just for, you know, a little brief uh, catch up on our thoughts or our experience with Tame Impala before this. For me, I had listened to all of his albums except Inner Speaker. They're more albums that like sometimes I'll get in the Tame Impala mood. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna listen to a Tame Impala record, and then I'd like, you know, it fits a certain vibe, it fits a certain mood that I enjoyed. I wouldn't say I've like done many close listenings to his, but like I have listened to his last 3 albums, like fairly on and off, like throughout the years, for me.
Yeah. I got into Tame Impala shortly after Currents came out in 2015. I think Nick, who's been on the podcast, it suggested I listen to Currents, and I've listened to Currents pretty consistently since then, and it's crazy that that's going on 10 years.
Oh God. Yeah.
But yeah, I the only albums I had listened to by him are Currents and The Slow Rush. I haven't. I think I had tried to listen to Lonerism a couple times, but I just never consistently tried, and it led me to having 2 new albums to listen to for this artist analysis,
Yeah.
which is okay. Um, but yeah, I like Tame Impala a lot. Great band.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember when the first time I listened to Tame Impala was. Probably like 2016, 2017. It was definitely Currents, but I don't even know when that was. But yeah, uh, cool. I guess I can start. I feel like I've been. I don't know. I always forget who started what when we do things. Um,
You could start.
I don't usually volunteer though. I know that. So okay.
Nice.
Um, all right. Well, we start off our Tame Impala listening with Inner Speaker from 2010. I started off by saying this will be, or This will be my only new listen on this journey here, and honestly, this was way better than I was expecting. I almost never hear this album get brought up in Tame Impala talks, but this is just as good as the rest of his output, in my opinion. The production is extremely psychedelic, but the guitar tones are like blissfully distorted. You know, the drums are beautifully groovy, and the songs written around them are all just really solid. I will say that this is one of those records that is just consistently really good for me. Like, I don't really think there's that many particular standouts on here, but there's really only a couple songs towards the end of the record that I may have cut. Like, up until that point, though, the album, like, it finds its niche. It finds its niche, carves it out, and then like rides it from start to finish. Like, it's just really solid throughout throughout most of it. For a debut record, that's pretty respectable.
Yeah.
These guys knew what they were doing. And even though there's a good chunk of this album that didn't really do much for me. Wait. What? Okay, sorry. I don't know why I wrote that sentence because I don't remember feeling that way. Okay, I think I meant to say that there's a couple songs towards the end that didn't do much for me. It was still a very pleasant listen, and had that signature Tame Impala flavor that makes me interested in revisiting this one again someday. So yeah, it's nothing like extremely notable for me, but it's just really solid all throughout and a damn well put together record. My favorites were Solitude is Bliss, It Is Not Meant to Be, Why Won't You Make Up Your Mind, Alter Ego, and Expectation. And my least favorites were The Bold Arrow of Time and I Don't Really Mind. And overall, I gave it a light 8.
Cool. Yeah. Inner Speaker. Kevin Parker has always kind of sounded like John Lennon to me.
Yeah.
But on this record, it sounds like he's trying to do his best impression and succeeding. It's always cool to me when musicians have a grasp on the sound of music they want to stick with from the beginning of their careers. And boy, did Tame Impala know what they were looking to do. While this one is a little more noisy than what I've come to know, I think that it's cool and adds a nice edge to this debut record. I love the instruments and the distortion used throughout, and the songwriting is fairly consistent with what with what I've experienced and what I've heard, which is also cool to see. Super solid debut, and just gets added to to the other two from him to under albums to vibe to. Um, but yeah, I thought that I liked the distortion a lot. I liked the noisiness. Very cool. I also wrote a little note on the side here, which I don't usually do. Lots of Beatles inspirations.
Oh.
Yeah. I think a lot of the time I pretty consistently feel like Tame Impala reminds me a lot of the druggy days of Beatles.
Yeah, especially his first two albums. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I thought it was very cool. I think it was a very cool debut, and it probably should be talked about more.
Yeah.
The psychedelia is definitely still there, but I don't know. It wasn't like as I don't know. I think I need to listen to it again because I only got one listen in. But the psychedelia didn't punch me in the face like it has with like Currents.
Yeah.
But I did like it quite a bit. My favorites on here were Lucidity, Desire Be, Desire Go, Expectation, The Bold Era of Time, and It Is Not Meant to Be. And my least favorites were Why Won't You Make Up Your Mind and Alter Ego. And I give it a strong 7 overall.
All right. Cool.
Right. Second album, Lonerism, 2011. What I said about Kevin having a grasp on the sound he wanted to roll with, he roll with counts here tenfold when talking about Lonerism. Though this time around, the production is more lush and full, and the psychedelia that I'm used to is peeking through a lot more. I enjoyed this album overall more than his debut, but I do kind of miss that distortion that was around. I liked the edge it added. I thought it was a cool feeling with that I've not that I've Jesus that I've not come to be used to with the albums that I have heard from him. It still can be found at some points in this album in the synths and such, but I think the bit of grime was a cool sound, and it'd be cool to see that return a little bit. There is some distortion later on, but not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the sound of Tame Impala's music, and I think it's super well done. I guess I was feeling a little negative at this point because I said I do like the sound of it, but I could use a bit of a switch up. With because a lot of the songs and sounds are pretty similar to each other. It's all just like it's all psychedelic and rock and pop, and it sounds good, but it'd be cool to have a little bit of switch up. But this is his like lane, and he's not like veering out of it very much, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't really agree with this now that I'm saying it.
It's funny how we both did that.
But yeah, but I like this album. It is very well produced and a fun listen. It's better than Inner Speaker, but and it is definitely a good example of what's to come in the next couple records. This is one, like I said, this is one that I've meant to listen to for a long time, and I'm glad that I finally did. But also this one coming out a year after Inner Speaker is kind of crazy.
I actually meant to correct you there. This came out in 2012.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, on Spotify it says 2011.
Does it? On Album of the Year it says 2012.
Well, okay.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't. My favorites were Elephant, Apocalyptic Dreams, Why Won't They Talk to Me, Nothing That Has Happened So Far, Music to Walk Home By, Mind Mischief, and Keep on Lying. And that's it. No, that's Lying. And my least favorites were Sun's Coming Up and She Just Won't Believe Me. And I give it a solid 8 overall.
Ooh. All right. Lonerism, allegedly 2012. I don't know. Yeah, throughout my Inner Speaker listening, the first album, I was like, wow, this and Lonerism feel really similar to each other. I'm probably going to end up giving them the same score. But honestly, this record was even better than I remembered once I actually started listening to it. The first chunk of this thing is actually an insane run of songs. The group is able to achieve the same sonic prowess as their last album, but this one really hones in on the songwriting in particular. These hooks go crazy on here for me, and the song progressions are just so easy on the ears yet extremely memorable. While I already know that this is the final album of theirs to sound like this, at least to this day, I think they've really perfected it in a way. Like, I'm okay that this is the last one before they switch it up a bit, but okay, I was writing things weird this week. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm okay that this is the last time before they switch it up a bit. But I gotta say that the last run of tracks is not really my favorite part. I don't think it's bad or anything, but there are a few songs towards the end of here that don't really do as much for me. And it kind of just ends on an okay note for an album that started off really, really good for me. That does impact my enjoyment a little bit, but the highs of this record are still insanely high. And yeah, those are the parts of the record that I remember the most. My favorites on here are Apocalypse Dreams, Elephant, Feels Like We Only Go Backwards, Mind Mischief, Why Won't They Talk to Me, Ender's Toi, and Music to Walk Home By. And my least favorites are Sun's Coming Up, Keep on Lying, and Nothing That Has Happened, whatever that long title is. I put ellipses. Overall, I gave it a strong 8. I think that's really good.
Hell yeah.
Cool. I will also say that I think I felt somewhat similar to you the first time I listened to it. I think it may be one of those that, like, when you hear it again, you're like, oh yeah, these hooks are really good. Like, it'll kind of capture you more the second time, possibly. I don't know. I think that's what happened to me, but yeah.
I think I was just looking forward to listening to Currents again, maybe, but
it could be, yeah, because they're not really that. I mean, they're similar in some ways, but they're different in a lot of ways. But
we'll say, like, Elephant, that's like the
Ooh.
big name track that I've heard people talk about. The
Mm-hmm.
Wiggles covered it, like,
yeah.
and it was very cool. I thought it was a lot of fun, very different from the other biggest track that they've put out, but I thought it was very cool.
Yeah, and my nerdy brain just wants to say something that I've been thinking a lot. Elephant is the least 4/4 sounding song that's in 4/4. Um, all right. Currents 2015. At least according to album of the year. Uh, it is 2015. Sorry. Before I start, this album art absolutely deserves a shout out. It's one of the best artworks I can think of for like any album, and it matches the sound like just perfectly. It was probably one of the first album covers to like actually catch my eye and make me want to listen to an album. So I think it deserves a little shout out. But the music, this album frustrates me slightly. um, it's actually I didn't even catch on to this, but now that I'm reading it, this is something I guess I just noticed a little bit of a pattern with some Tame Impala stuff. I absolutely adore the first half of this thing. We get so many tracks that are just Kevin Parker at the top of his game, songwriting wise. Like the 8-minute journey of an opener that Let It Happen has some of the coolest production on any of their songs. The groovy bliss of The Moment is really fun and catchy. The synthy heaven of Eventually is really, really good. And of course, there's the catchy smash hits. The less I know, the better. That's also fantastic. One of the best bass lines, most memorable bass lines I can think of. There's so much to love in these songs. They're layered well, performed well, produced phenomenally, and are probably the best tracks under the Tame Impala name, to be honest. But I've always found the second half of this album to just be a really drastic fall off. I don't think it gets like bad, but pretty much everything after the halfway point of this album just does nothing for me. And it's always kind of been like that. I don't know why. I like the chorus of "Cause I'm a Man," and I think "New Person, Same Old Mistakes" is a pretty solid closer that ends things on a high note. But everything else just kind of exists for me, which is kind of a shame, and it always just kind of slightly disappoints me when I listen to this album. Even though I still like it a lot, the extremely high potential of the first half always leaves me a little disappointed by the end of the record. It's a weird one for me, but I've just never shaken those feelings on this one, and this listening, I still didn't quite shake those feelings. So I don't know. That's just my burden with this album, I guess. But my favorites on here are Eventually, Let It Happen, The Less I Know, the Better, The Moment, Yes, I'm Changing, New Person, Same Old Mistakes. And my least favorites are Past Life, Disciples, Love Paranoia, and Reality in Motion. And overall, I give it a decent 8.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, Currents. Call it basic or expected, but this is definitely my favorite from Tame Impala. Coincidentally, it's also the first album that I had heard from this Aussie group. So hey, maybe throw nostalgia in there too. But like, there's very little to dislike about this album, in my opinion. I think the production is the best it's been. The super lush synths, that booming bass, and the catchy, uh, honestly catchiest songs and lyrics thus far. It's more poppy than it has been, while also staying firmly planted in that gorgeous, trippy, psychedelic sound that Tame Impala has become known for. Um, this album is very beautiful to me, and probably one of the uh, one of the factors in my music taste developing so much as I got into high school. And it's also most definitely the catalyst for me enjoying psychedelic sound as much as I do.
For you, it's the catalyst for you enjoying psychedelics. Yeah.
Yes, I love mushrooms and
Yeah.
LSD.
Yeah.
Uh, Little known fact, but
I thought it was obvious, but
I love this record. I love the album cover. I do think the second half falls off just a little bit compared to the first, but I still enjoy a lot of it. Because I'm a Man has always been one that I really enjoyed. I know a lot of people don't, but I think it's fun, and I really love this record. But my favorites were Yes, I'm Changing, New Person, Same Old Mistakes, Eventually, The Less I Know, the Better, Because I'm a Man, and Let It Happen. And my least favorite was Past Life, and I give it a solid 9.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's one that like I agree with you on. It's just I don't know. It's just not quite for me in the second half, but that's
That's
okay.
completely.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, here we go. Last album in his discography, or, sorry, their discography thus far.
Yes. Yeah.
The Slow Rush from 2020. This album has grown on me a lot since it came out. To be fair, though, I don't know if I've listened to it since 2020 in its entirety. Because it came out like on Valentine's Day in 2020, and that was right before COVID,
Yeah.
and then Circles took over my life. So,
Yeah. You sure
and
you didn't listen to Circles before this? Because remember John telling us about that in like January.
it definitely did. I definitely did.
Okay.
But like once COVID hit, Circles was something that like
Oh,
really
okay. Yeah.
I really listened to. Um, but what I said about catchiness and pop and the pop heaviness on Currents is still very much around on the Slow Rush, and I'm not mad about it. The similarities between this one and the last don't stop there, as production has stayed fairly similar while also bringing a little bit of that noise back from earlier projects at points, like on It Might Be Time. While I don't have the same fondness towards the Slow Rush as I do for Currents, I did and do enjoy it at around the same level. It's a fun listen and is some of his best songwriting, in my opinion. It might be his least psychedelic feeling, and I think that's cool as well. As not just synth and bass uh, got to shine, but the drums and guitars really shine as well.
Mm.
I really love the closer on this one. That one really stood out. And I've also heard. I feel like I've heard it on like TikTok and stuff.
Mm.
But yeah, this one's grown on me a lot since it came out. It's also crazy that that's been over 4 years at this point.
Yeah. Don't remind me.
But yeah, this one I love this. I really like the Slow Rush, and my favorites were Borderline, Posthumous Forgiveness, One More Hour, Instant Destiny, Tomorrow's Dust, and It Might Be Time. And my least favorite was Glimmer, and I give it a light 9.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool. Yeah, this one's another weird one for me. I actually remember listening to this a few times on campus when it came out, but something occurred shortly afterwards that overshadowed this record, which you also alluded to.
Yes.
Some cultural events in the world, you know, something like a global pandemic or something. But yeah, I don't remember. But I kind of feel the same about this now as I did when I initially heard it. It's nice. It's a nice groovy project with some killer production. I just think it's a little boring, just a little bit. I think there's several highlights on here, but there's also several just kind of whatever tracks to accompany them. I want to like it more than I do, but I just think the songwriting in general is not as consistent across the board. I absolutely love the track "Posthumous Forgiveness." It's one of the few times I've really enjoyed the lyricism on a Tame Impala track.
Yeah.
They usually have pretty good stuff, but like this is like one of the few times it's like, oh, this is different. This is good.
Yeah.
But most of the songs here are fun and catchy. But I do like when they break the formula a little bit on songs like the opener and the closer. I think those are nice moments. But overall, this one just doesn't really stick out to me as much, even if it's still pretty good. I think it's a perfectly fine record, but just a little lackluster by their standards. So yeah, my favorites are Posthumous Forgiveness, Lost in Yesterday, One More Year, Instant Destiny, and On Track. And my least favorites are Tomorrow's Dust, Breathe Deeper, Is It True, and Glimmer. And overall, I have it at a decent 7.
Cool.
Cool. All right. Overall thoughts. Tame Impala is an interesting group for me. The majority of their output is really well done and very pleasant to listen to. I just don't really find myself seeking out their music all that much in my own time. Like I know I said that every now and then I'll get in a Tame Impala mood, but every now and then translates to like once a year, if that. um, they're one of those bands that I can appreciate and enjoy from a distance, but not really one that I would say that I'm like in love with or a fan of. Just like, yeah, they make really good stuff. Um, I actually just looked it up, and apparently this is all one guy. Fucking crazy.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Does anyone else know about that? That's crazy. I don't know. Well, regardless, Kevin Parker is extremely talented to be putting together all of these sounds by himself. The synths, bass, and drums are always so detailed and intricate, yet they're perfectly in line with one another and like making these great grooves and just great songs in general. The man knows how to make a beat, that's for sure. The one man show does help also make his output feel more personalized to him, and I think that's pretty sick, having such a personalized discography like that. So yeah, Tame Impala is just a super solid artist for me. Maybe just a touch on the overrated side by like indie heads and all that, but I still think he's very well deserving of a lot of the praise he gets, and I'm glad that he's as big of a name as he is. Hopefully, we'll hear another project from him soon because he's mostly been a feature artist slash producer nowadays. But yeah, we'll have to see.
Cool. Yeah. My overall thoughts. Though there are only 4 albums to this discography thus far, Kevin Parker has made a lasting mark on today's music and my taste, and personally, in today's music, things like Joe really remind me of Tame Impala.
Yeah,
But I love the sound of this band, and just how vibey it is. Um, Great music to just veg out and stare at the ceiling to. Um, but it's not without um, but it's not without its absolute bops that you can bust it down to. I know it's a played out joke at this point, but I think that the fact that this is just one person doing all this, making all these bangers that sound like they could very well be performed by a full band is
yeah,
super cool and impressive. I think overall it's a fairly consistently good discography that I had a good time with, um, and I'm excited to see what these guys put out next.
yeah,
Um, I would love to hear a new album from Tame Impala soon, but if it's not for a little while, that's fine because it is just one dude. So it's like
yeah,
it's cool. But yeah, I enjoyed this artist analysis. It was a good time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. What's your
What do you,
chart?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Oh,
I will do that.
sorry.
My that's okay. My album rankings are Currents, then the Slow Rush, then Lonerism, then Inner Speaker, and I gave my rating overall is a decent 8.
Cool. And my ranking is Lonerism, Currents, Inner Speaker, and the Slow Rush. And overall, I gave them a light 8.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really solid. Like I think it's just the best way I can put it for my
Yeah,
feelings. Really, really
uh,
solid.
for sure. I I love the sound of this group. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
nice little short discography to close
Yeah.
out the month of May.
Yeah, when I
Um,
remembered that I had band this week, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's definitely good. We got a shorter one this week,
yeah,
band, and I still want to listen to Clancy." So,
right.
yeah,
But yeah, that was our artist analysis of Tame Impala. Hope you enjoyed.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm sure we're more than good to head into Song of the Week
Oh
if you're
yes, we
ready.
are. Yep, yes I am. I am up this week. And they're like I said, I think some of their best songs are on. I'm still keeping up with the bit. I still think some of his best songs are on Currents. But I do want to give a shout out to my boy Lonerism because that was my favorite album, and I really like a lot of the songs on here. And one of the ones that's really been growing on me, I guess, in the last year or so, is Apocalypse Dreams. So I'm gonna go with that. All right, that was Apocalypse Dreams by Tame Impala. What did you think of that, Colin?
I think that's a beautiful track. I think that it's super well produced. It's super like it feels like empty but also full. It's kind of
Yeah,
that apocalyptic feel. I think that's a good title for the song. Um, I think it's very cool. It's very nice on the ears.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I every time I return to that track, I'm like, oh my god, each of these parts are so catchy. I love the bright, springy piano in the beginning and that
Yeah.
vocal melody he's doing there, and then like my favorite part of the track, and I remembered it even just when doing this listening here, I'm like, oh my god, this outro is so good.
Oh,
I could listen to that loop on probably for another like 3 minutes. It's just so nice. I love how it builds up to that section and all the little sections leading up to it. And yeah, it's one of my favorites that I keep always loving when I go back to this album. So yeah.
sure. Cool. Well, I'm gonna give a little shout out to the Slow Rush. I think that this one was a single. I think it might have been the first single for this record. Um, but it's a very fun, very boppy track. I'm gonna go with "Borderline" by Tame Impala.
All right.
All right, that was "Borderline" by Tame Impala. What do you think, Mike?
I think it's good. You may have noticed is that your favorite one from that album?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you may have noticed that I didn't mention it in my tracks when doing my thing. I don't know, something about that song. It doesn't really. I mean, kind of like I've been saying, it doesn't really capture me all too much. I do really like the part that should I be more love. I definitely love that part a lot. It's just the other elements of the song that I'm just like I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be feeling. Like it's like a weird thing for me. But I still think it's a good song. It's really well produced. It's sung well. It's groovy. It's vibey. I can see why others enjoy it, I guess. But I don't know. Just for me personally, it doesn't do all too much. But I still like it.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. This one has always just been super fun to me. I love the production on it. I love like the super bassy synths throughout. And the drum work on this one's really well done too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just it's a super catchy tune. I also like the
Yeah.
very good, very well performed. But yeah, I can see why you don't like it. But that's
I'm
okay.
Yeah, I do like it to be clear. I think I'm in the
Okay,
minority with just feeling weird on it, but yeah, I
yeah,
don't know.
still fair either way.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I really have a good time with that track every time I hear it.
cool.
Cool.
Cool. All right. Well, we are good on time here. So,
Sounds good.
alrighty. Thanks for listening to our little Tame Impala artist analysis. Yeah, we do this every month. So see you next month for what? No,
Our
but
strict artist analysis listeners.
yes, yeah, for those who are only here for our longest episodes where we just kind of say words for the whole time. Um,
But what is a podcast if it's not just saying words for a long
I
time?
guess that's true. I guess that's true. But yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you're new around here, there's so much for you to learn in this segment coming up right now.
Sure is.
And if you're an audio listener, you can come on over to YouTube, where you can see our beautiful Clancy Deluxe Edition photos that Colin paid for. And yeah, you can go check out see those beautiful boxes with a green line around them when one of us talks. But more importantly, you can go into the description and you can see links to the or we're under the same name. I mean, in case you were confused, BrokeN Bois, capital N Bois. And you can find links to that song of the week playlists that we just did, that segment. And down there you'll find 3 playlists. You'll find one for me, you'll find one for Colin, and you'll find one for both of our stuff combined, along with our guests that we have. And in there you can find Borderline, or you can find Apocalypse Dreams by Tame Impala, the episode we just did. And also, go check out that combined playlist because it is now over a day long.
Let's go.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, I haven't actually checked it, but I know from last week that it is. um, so, I mean, if you're looking for a day of music, just don't know what to listen to, we got you covered. Go check that out. A lot of good stuff in there. And AJR. And yeah, if you want to get some links to our personal stuff, for me, like I mentioned earlier in the episode, I make music under the name Plaintive, and am currently making music under the name Plaintive. So you should go catch up on your Plaintive lore with Coping Mechanism.
Hell yeah,
Um,
brother.
Go check that out on all streaming services. It's down there. Give me a little rate on album of the year, maybe too. I was bombed. I'm a poor little soul, who undeservedly got bombed. So,
That's
um,
true.
you can go do that as well. Give your honest thoughts though if you do that. But yeah, that's on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you want. It's there. Got my Instagram down there. I have my album of the year page. You can go look at my reviews for these Tame Impala albums. And I got my YouTube where you can go check out some of those Clancy covers I've been doing. I do really like that Oldie Station one if you want to check that out. And proximity. I'm buried under the sand in the Slow Rush album cover. I'm just kind of waiting down there, waiting for you, our dear viewer. So I'm underneath you again. Um, I think that's all my stuff. For Colin over here, though, Colin, he runs our socials. He runs our TikTok page where he posts funny little videos of us doing funny little bits when we decide to have fun on here. And he also runs our Twitter when he updates when episodes are posted and out. You need that especially if it was last week's episode where it had to come out a little bit later. So, yeah, go follow those. Go keep up with your broken boys over here. And then he also has some personal things as well. He's got an album of the year page where he rates and reviews music. Maybe you'll see some Tame Impala stuff up there soon. Um, maybe. um, and He's got a letterbox where he rates and reviews movies. Did you watch anything this week?
I did not, but maybe soon.
Maybe soon. He does like those movies though, so go check out those reviews. Go check out those reviews and scores regardless.
Forgot to mention that the casting started for this third Knives Out movie.
Oh yeah, I was seeing stuff on that too.
Very excited about that.
It's named after. Oh, sorry.
Huh? Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, isn't it named after like a U2 song or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's been the consistent theme of Ryan Johnson here.
Yeah.
Different song names for each.
Yeah.
Knives Out. It's a Radiohead song. Yeah.
What? Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And then Glass Onion, and now a U2 song. So
yeah. So I guess we gotta add U2 to the wheel so we can catch up on all of them during an artist analysis.
yeah.
Yeah. We'll wait for the movie. You were gonna say something. Yeah. Sorry.
No. You're good. You can keep going. Keep on going.
All right. And you got your album page, your Instagram page, Clancy review coming soon. Yeah. What's your proximity to our viewer, Colin?
I am wading blissfully through the waves on the Currents record. It kind of works like a beach, kind of like the last the one last week.
Was it yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in the Paladin Strait, you were on the building, yeah.
Yes. This is a different kind of beach where the water is lines in a giant ball and the sand is overtaking the landscape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just blissfully wading through the beautiful lines on the Currents album cover, and as the viewer watches on in horror of what that big ball might do.
Yeah. What them big balls do. Yeah.
There's 3 big balls in this water now.
Wow.
But yeah. But once I make my way out of the beautiful water, I will.
Can we clarify something real quick? Because there's been a lot of wetness recently. Is this continuing the trend?
I don't know if I'd consider it wet.
Okay.
As much as I consider it vibey.
All right. We're replacing wetness with vibes. Okay, cool.
Yes. But I will use that vibe to get out of the water and wonder where you might be. And I will hear the muffled screams of you trapped under the sands.
Yeah.
And I will tell the viewer, hey, before we do this, We got to dig up our other good friend. And we're going to come on over to where we hear the muffling, and it might take a little while, but we'll find you under those sands, and we'll dig you out. And with you being so grateful that we saved your life, you'll ask for a hug from both of us, but you'll only accept the hug if you're allowed to hug the viewer from the back and they are in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
It cannot be 2 hugs, one for each of us. It has to be one combined hug.
It's a weird quirk of mine, yeah.
It is, but hey, you'll get used to it once you know him for a while.
Once you get to know me, yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna turn the viewer around, and you're gonna hug him from the back. I'm gonna hug him from the front, and I'm gonna try to wipe off that sand from your lips with my own lips, and we'll probably succeed, but it might be a little dry.
Yeah.
But we'll also take care of that problem. So as we're hugging you, dear viewer, from in front and behind, me and Mike will be making out passionately, a little dryly for a couple seconds, in what we'd like to call the love cage. And if you would like that, one of your very own, you can drop your address in the comments below, and you will get your very own love cage. You won't know when, you won't know where, but we will find you, and you will get your very own. So drop that addy, and we will find you.
Goddamn right.
But it's probably the smoothest one of those was gone in a while.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't as we've had weirder.
we've had much weirder.
Yeah.
But we saved your life in this one, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I guess I gotta be grateful for that. So,
but, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. We'll come at you next week with a list of some sort. We'll figure it out. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Adios. Bye-bye.
Love you guys. Bye.